Hey, what's up, everybody? Edmund jumped up here right when I was starting, so I was watching for the jump. Well, I was needed to make the change from the intro. So, let's see. Had all kinds of technical difficulties, of course, in the beginning, but had nothing to do with the settings I changed or anything, just weird stuff not happening. So, I saw you guys chatting about the weather. Yeah, I don't know how it didn't get as warm as it was originally supposed to here, like what, 40s or something, but
I'd go off the truck. It said 55, but it was also sitting in the sun all day. So
oh, 55, damn. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I didn't get outside. Usually this time of year, though, warm weather peaks later in the day. But I walked down to the grocery store at What time was that? It was before sunset, 5-ish. But it already was below 40 by then, it said, but it felt so warm.
Oh yeah, it felt like midsummer
Oh, hey,
after
bud. You looking at me?
single digits.
Yeah. Yeah, this winter's been so brutal. I actually didn't ride outside today, even though the weather was nice, or the temperature was nice, because the snow hasn't changed, and there's still like not great places to ride. So it's just really wet and slushy snow, and all the shoulders are still blocked, and all the bike paths are still blocked. I actually finished the Tour de Zwift because it was the last stage started today, and I wanted to get that done. So I rode 24 miles inside, but I was saying I'd rather not really have this warm up because it's going to drop back below freezing, so everything's going to refreeze. But next week it'll be more extended warm, and I think the snow will actually be gone. But I don't know. Yeah, I think Bradley, you said still a tundra in New York. I bet the warmer weather is just a day or two out for you guys. I think it's usually about a day. We don't get the exact same weather, but with a typical pattern, whatever it seems like we get here in Ohio, you guys get something similar, uh, like about a day out. So 13. Yeah, what? Yeah, it's been. I mean, right up until now, though. Yeah, it's still been brutally cold. I guess what Monday wasn't quite as bad, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. Still got cold overnight. It sucks. It's costing me a ton of money. I actually did just do my taxes today, and surprisingly, when I put in my gas was cheaper from 25 over 24, which I wouldn't have expected because 25 had that super cold spell. Well, we just had a lot of snow. I guess it wasn't as cold. It's just very snowy in January and February, up into early February. But next year that'll be different. I'll be writing off a lot more gas. I actually, I actually overpaid on my estimates, and I didn't know anything, and I actually had enough money to roll into next year's taxes. So
Nice.
don't even have to pay the first two estimates, the first two quarters, which is nice, and that's what having an accountant is for. So yeah, I don't know if Nathan will pop in here. He's so busy right now. You know, obviously it's his busy season, so he works his ass off through early May, and then takes a vacation and tells everyone not to bother him, except his bike friends. But yeah, I tried to figure out this stuff for years, and my accountant has definitely saved me more money than he's cost me. So, but I'm also not very organized.
Are you seeing that pulse in the
Yeah,
light?
it started right when I got here. I don't know what's up. Everything's kind of crazy down here tonight. Stephanie rode down in Warren today and got covered in rock salt grime. Everybody Strava said something about that I read. Something about salt soup or, yeah. That's the other thing. I think Dylan was saying in the Discord that, yeah, going out right now is, or someone wrote about like canceling Zwift because of the forecast, and he was like, Dylan said 1 hour ride and then 2 hours of bike maintenance. So definitely warmer than it's been, but still 20 plus degrees below average. Yeah, New York's been crazy. I didn't realize this, that, you know, I was saying how you kind of generally get our weather. I didn't realize, and it must be the ocean moderates it or something, but that New York is typically a bit warmer than it is here in Ohio, like in Northeast Ohio. And that this is what the coldest year in like over 2 decades or something like that. So, but yeah, I don't know if you guys watch Casey Neistat, but he put up a rare video because he rarely does videos anymore. But he was talking just about how kind of gross New York gets because all the trash and like the dog pee. So when you just have prolonged snow, it's just like, I can't remember how he was described. I think he was calling it like just slop. But yeah, I can't imagine what it takes to keep New York clear when all that kind of stuff is going on. Down said it got up to 63 in Cincy. Wow. Illicit, you said you'll ride in the 90s. It's harder to ride in the snow. Well, that's true. I don't mind the heat. I would most days take the 90s. Like I said, I like a few snow rides. I'm pretty over it at this point. Bremnet. Uh, the postings are in the Discord. Yeah, there is a whole channel for the meetup ride. I just posted the preliminary information. I haven't posted a ton of updates because there really aren't any yet because I'm going to wait till I could test out routes and stuff like that before I have a new route or anything like that. But yeah. 32 and snow in Boston. Oh, David, you said it was low 30s in Florida, so the Hurricane 300 was rough. Yeah, it's funny. Right now, 30s feels good, but I don't usually camp in the 30s. I've only maybe once in my life camped when it got kind of that cold, but I also wasn't bike packing. It was our cars were there, so yeah, disappearing shoulders no fun. Hey, Nogski, how's it going? Looks fun riding in the snow, but scary. It depends. It really depends on what the snow's like. Like some snow doesn't worry me at all, especially if I'm like off road and on like crushed limestones. Riding on that lake, even though I knew it was safe because they were testing the ice by drilling it, still sketchy at first. Then you get used to it and you stop thinking about it. So, oh, you guys got 46 in Michigan? Maybe Dave was right. Maybe it did hit the 50s today. I just said I did my taxes in the morning to early afternoon. Then I watched mixed doubles curling, gold medal game. Unfortunately, U.S. got silver. Still a good result for the U.S. But yeah, would have liked to see them win that game. They were playing so well. And then I rode the trainer, and then I walked to the grocery store. So by then it was already probably over the peak temperature. Yeah, there's still a ton of snow here on the ground. One day is not enough to melt all the snow we've had, but it did clear up some of the roads. But when I walked to the grocery store, I had to walk in the street where people haven't shoveled their sidewalks. Because Katie, where are you at that it's 60? Pay taxes in quarters, yeah. The good news about the warm temps, you could wash all the salt off the bike and not have anything freeze up. True. Oh, in Colorado. Gotcha. CPA is worth it for freelancers. Yeah, it's like I said, he saves me more money than he costs me for sure. Because there's so many things that I was not doing that I didn't know that how to write off by trying to use online software or that I even could. So, yeah, and then just how fast he is at it. I get all the numbers together, but we were done in 2 hours. Where it just take me like a week to figure everything out, trying different software and doing all kinds of stuff. There's just so much when you're a freelancer. Plus, I kind of have multiple businesses because this place, the way it is, I would never figure that out on my own because I have two tenants, um, the interest, all that crazy stuff. So, Donald said, tried to install click valves on your bike this week and discovered all your tubes had non-removable valve cores. Huh. I guess that's interesting. It's something I've never thought about because I don't think I've ever tried to remove a valve core on a tube. I only ever mess with that when I'm running tubeless. So I guess I wouldn't even know for sure. Huh. When I buy a tube at the bike shop, I definitely never ask if it's removable or not. So just piles of sunlight down there in FL. Yeah, you guys had cold weather for Florida though down there. You said after our winter, uh, 30s feels great. But what's up, William and Brown? How's it going? I think I've been through Ludington, right? Yeah, I have been. Is Ludington close to Lake Michigan? Let's go to the maps. I know that name. We must have done it on one of our bike tours. Not Ludington Town Hall. I didn't type that in. Oh yeah, yeah. We went through. Let's see. we did part of the North Coast traverse and then shot over to the coast, and I think that's yeah, because we went through Manistee after that and up and around. So yeah, I think we might have had lunch there on the water. Is there a restaurant over here? No, I'm not seeing one. Maybe we didn't, but we definitely went through there. Ludington Bay Brewing. Nah. I think it was the 4th of July. We were actually there on the 4th of July. Oh, yeah. Because then the dunes and everything. Right. Yep. Nordhaus Dunes, yeah. I think we rode up, and that's the night we would have camped in Sleeping Bear? Is that way up here? Maybe we had 2 days. Yeah, we had 2 days on the coast. So maybe we camped nearer to Frankfurt, I think. Anyways. How's it going, Cycling Brian? Ice on your tent the first morning in Florida. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, Bubbles. Jeff, you signed up for your first reg ride. Do you like the big daily party rides with 10,000 people? No, I've never. That's probably why I've never done it, because we like to plan our own bike tours. So, but like I always say, everyone who does it seems to love it. And I'm not saying I wouldn't love it. It doesn't sound appealing to me, but I've done a lot of things and changed my mind about a lot of bike stuff over the years. What's up, Danny? As long as their new laws in Iowa don't end up outlawing it, you know. Yeah, near Nordhaus Dunes and Manistee. I think maybe that's where we ended up camping. Yeah, that would make sense because we came from the trail into Ludington, and probably so we didn't go that far north. So I think we did camp in the near Nordhaus Dunes. Well, that's the maps for the evening. Should we discuss saddles or Tim's handlebars next? And we did a unique one on Thursday. I can't really, since we did two last week, it's hard for me to remember who was in which chat. But on Thursday, it was so funny because I was upstairs and then I ended up just talking about cameras and computers almost the whole time. And someone was like, it might have even been you, Naptown. Someone's like, get him away from his bikes in the basement. And he just goes, but then Pudgy jumped in and he's like, what, in the pandemic? But Brent, I'll show you. I think it's just called Channel Meetup. Let's see. Yeah, Channel Meetup 2026. It's where the info is, and I assumed I pinned the post with the original information. But yeah, I use that same channel every year, so but yeah, so it's March 20th, but any new information as we get close will go in there when I have all the times and everything ready. So for anyone who doesn't know, we'll be doing 3 basically events this year. We did 3 last year too, but Friday night there'll be like a more photography thing. It's, you know, if anyone's interested or if you're local, you're welcome to come. But that'll be doing an art opening with Alex Rigda he rides with Joy Machines, but he also shoots a lot of film, and I think a couple of his buddies might also be in it. And so we'll do kind of, last year we did an open house, so this one will be kind of more like a show, and yeah, there'll be artwork for sale, film photography stuff for sale. I've got it much more organized now. It'll be less of a flea market, like of stuff I'm trying to get rid of out of the studio, and more of a concise art show and photography related. Then Saturday, we'll do the Channel Meetup ride, which is kind of later afternoon because we go over to Dirty River around 4 when they close, and then do a ride, and then do a brewery stop. It'll be a different route this year because the brewery we used to ride out to is no longer open, and that one had like nice amount of space, so I'm gonna figure out something different. So we'll do a different route, and then Sunday morning will be the Otis Roubaix, which is the hill climb challenge in Akron where Otis makes a route that we climb like all the steepest hills in Akron. I think he gets over 4,000 feet. So, oh, that's not my mouse. Yeah, if you can make it out, it'd be awesome. Yeah, originally I put the channel meetup right next to the Otis Roubaix, so if anyone did travel, there's a couple rides to do instead of just, one afternoon ride. And then, yeah, decided why not, if I'm going to be ready for visitors, why not do something on Friday as well. And yeah, this year it's kind of kicking off the other side of the studio that I'm trying to use more, so. Anyone read John from the Radivus review of the Crust Bikes Nor'easter today? I didn't. Did they drop a new Nor'easter, or is it just a review of the typical one? I'll be interested too, though, because so many people talk about those, because so many people have broken the tubing on them, including a couple people I know personally. What's up, Ploafmaster? If that's how you are, P. Loafmaster? Ploafmaster? I think I was trying to guess how you pronounce it last time, too. Don Parsons, what's up? You said, hello, gang. It's like spring conditions up above the Montana line. Yeah. One more winter front and it bike and beer time. Nice. I wonder what you consider spring conditions above the Montana line. Does that mean it's like above zero? Above zero and the wind is dropped below 50 mile per hour gusts. Dave said, just a review of the existing Crust Nor'easter, and John is hinting that bike is going away. It's a cool bike. It's the same thing I always say. To name a bike kind of after Ronnie Romance, and then to tell you not to ride it too rough just seems, I just don't like that. I think that's, and I like Crust. I just think that's bad marketing or misleading marketing to be like, hey, this is Ronnie's bike, but he bombs down rocky hills in New England, but you shouldn't do that on this bike, But I haven't checked it out yet, Bradley. I know people shared it in the Discord. I need to remember that. Yeah, it'd be perfect. There probably will be a few more trainer rides where I could pop it on. But it's funny because right now Olympics all day until the Olympics end, which it's kind of nice because then I don't watch any of it in prime time, and then if I'm working in the evening, I'll get back to watching some YouTube or some of the podcasts I watch. I've also been trying to fit in another thing to bring up, the movies we're gonna talk about next week, me and Party Size. So I've already watched 3 of them. I'm not going to give any opinions right now, but I watched Rad, I watched Hard Miles, and last night I watched The Flying Scotsman. So I think I watched all of them just on YouTube and paid for a rental. Did I? I might have watched one on Amazon Video because it was considerably cheaper. But either way, they were like $4 and you have 48 hours to watch them. It's kind of weird to rent something digital like that. It still kind of bothers me, but then I'm like, it's $4. Yeah. Right. I have a $12 6-pack I'm going to drink while I watch this. Not the whole 6-pack. I think I had 2 of them last night while watching The Flying Scotsman. But yeah. And so the other one is what's the name of the other one? So I could let you guys know. Hard Miles I knew nothing about, so that was kind of cool to see something completely different. Rad, of course, I know all about, but I'd never watched it straight through. And The Flying Scotsman, I kind of knew a little bit about the story, but I realized I didn't know a whole bunch beyond just the famous pictures of the guy in that position on his homemade bicycle. That was like all I knew. So. Ploaf, not P-loaf. I had it right. It's because I'm a bass player. I think like P-bass. Is there bakers who do like P-loaf or jazz loafs?
What?
All bass guitar references. Only the bass players in the crowd will get that. Bradley might get that joke. Any ideas how to clean your bike in the winter in a small apartment? That is something I've never had to deal with, to be honest. I guess when I lived in a small apartment and rode my bike, I just didn't clean. No, because the area when I lived in Hyde Square, I didn't ever ride my bike really. Yeah, we did a little bit. I mean, I rode downtown, but that was summer. I didn't ride it in the winter.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
Right.
It just didn't need to be clean like it does now. But yeah, I have a basement with a floor drain here. And yeah, back in the day, I was always when I was riding, but I never rode in the winter that much. So I was always just more wiping it down and cleaning a drivetrain. So yeah, I've never tried to clean a bike. I know people bring them in the showers.
So I was just gonna say, if you got a tub, throw it in the tub.
Yeah, tub and showers is the only thing I see people do. Put down drop cloth and use detailing spray. My buddy Ryan Hugh lived in an apartment in downtown Akron. He kept his bike. He had like two big plastic tubs, and he put one wheel in each and leaned it up against the wall. He wasn't. I don't know if that's how he also washed it, but I know that's how he stored it. So like it wasn't when you come in from the winter, it's not dripping everywhere. So we have 0 drop frames tonight. So how does everything look, by the way? If anyone, just a couple people, how would you guys know that? A couple people chime in with like the look of it, because basically what I've done is I've dropped the bit rate way down. That's supposed to be what's going to help keep it stable. And I figure for talking head stuff, it shouldn't really matter. Now it looks a little, when I click over to my preview, it's a little bit blurry, but it doesn't look, it's weird. It doesn't look pixelated. It looks like out of focus. That's weird.
See, I was gonna say it seems almost choppy.
Oh, you see it as choppy? Yeah, I guess bitrate would be more of a motion thing than a resolution thing, right? Because it's the same resolution. Right. Still in 1080, it's just a lower bitrate, so motion would be more affected. Yeah.
Almost like that. They got that active motion or whatever they put on TVs where it's supposed to smooth it out, but it looks fake.
Yeah,
kind of looks like that.
That's weird. But I would rather have that and the stream come through because it's not a super visual stream. So, yeah. Just put it in the shower. Yeah. Crew Jones forever. I'm gonna hold off on giving my opinions till we got Party Size on here next Tuesday. But I've got opinions. Don't worry. Hey, what's up, Matt Land. You could shout out your son who won his basketball game this weekend. Dawn power wash without water. Just spray and wipe off. How is that, like a spray bottle of something, I guess?
It's like, yeah, it's watered down Dawn soap.
Oh, so
So
you can make it yourself too if you wanted to.
Basically, just put alcohol in your Dawn, same thing.
Dimitri, you do it in the shower. What's up, Dimitri? Yeah, I bet if you're watching on like a phone or something, it doesn't matter at all. If you're watching on a TV, it's probably more noticeable. Yeah, Rock, that new Lance Armstrong thing, I'm done with. I don't ever need to hear another thing about Lance Armstrong in my life. I guess, of course they rehash stories every few years. There's younger generations, but I mean, I don't know. Like my opinions on Lance are pretty clear. I think he's a complete sociopath. I think he's an absolute dick. And the reason that even though everybody was doping back then, Lance gets so much flack is because he was an absolute. He's an absolute asshole about it. Like you weren't allowed on his team if you went dope. Like he's not a good human being even without the doping scandal. And as celebrities, and you could sometimes get away with that. But if you read anyone else's like books from who was cycling back then, nobody likes Lance Armstrong. Like, and it's not just the doping. So yeah, it came down hardest on him because he's the one who was winning the tours back then. Even though, again, I also read about. I was reading a little bit about the Flying Scotsman after I watched it to just see what some of the reality compared to the Hollywood version of it is. And again, that guy, and this is not in the movie, so I'm not giving anything away. Later in his, or I guess actually maybe even before that, I don't know. Whatever, it said how it's unfair because, he probably would have gotten to ride a little bit in the Tour de France, but when he went to go on a team, they're like, here's the EPO, and he was like, I won't take dope. And so he didn't get a ride for a professional team in road racing because he went dope. And then also, if you look at the era he was riding, how much longer would his career gone on if he wasn't having to race against a bunch of people who were doped to the gills? So, yeah, so fuck Lance Armstrong. Anyways, there were people who said no, and there's an example right there. Not the whole everybody was doping. Everybody who was making it to the Tour de France might have been, but there's all these other talents that we'll never know about because they said no. So that's bullshit. Note elsewhere said video, not elsewhere, said video looks way better than normal. Yeah, it's better than a stream crashing. Like, I do think there is a quality hit to when you're pushing more, like a higher quality if it was working. But the problem is it hasn't been working lately. So, yeah, not stuttering and the sound is better. So that's what we need. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Just quit moving around so much. Yeah, I know. Iberforenden. Hi. Anyways, love the ice riding on the lake video. Looks like a blast. Yeah, it was cool to do. For some reason, I thought and it doesn't matter. I just take what I want. But
It's Brandon.
Brandon, what's the 4?
Probably somebody already had it, so you throw a 4 instead of an A.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, but that video, and it could also just be the time of year and also the Olympics and other factors, but the views are way lower than normal videos, and I'm like, I thought people would be interested in the ice riding on the lake video. I thought the thumbnail and titles were all fine, but yeah, and it's not like no one watched it, but it's definitely the lowest out of anything all winter. So
people are tired of it.
People are tired of winter. Yeah, that probably happens too. If it was at the beginning of winter, it'd be cool. Oh, Nongski, you really love the granola bar. Yeah. And that's what I'm riding on my Trek winter bike as well. And I've always said I switched the Gunnar to the Soma Portmans, but I don't really have a favorite between the two. When I switch back and forth, I'm like, yeah, I like both these. So. Oh, nice. He gets tickled by live shout-outs. Dimitri said your bike still has mud on it from summer. Yeah. Well, I haven't washed the Gunner yet, and it still has all that orange dust from the Florida clay roads on it. So I am going to wash it though, because I think I'm going to install those fenders that Portland Design Works sent me. So I get now, especially with the weather getting warmer and rain in the forecast, I really want full fenders back on. So wash that bike and put the fenders on the Gunner. I also need to ride. I need to wash the Trek. It's pretty bad. I gave it a brief wash, but for it being out in the winter grime, it needs a more thorough one. Oh, good. That's good to hear, Ploak Master. That you're watching on a TV and it still looks good. Yeah. I could tell the difference, but I'm a total nerd about that. Even watching some of these cycling movies they're talking about, the most recent one, which is Hard Miles, I literally noticed what kind of lenses they were using. I'm like, oh shit, that's an anamorphic, and then there was one lens they were using that has it's only sharp in the center and has this really intense background blur, which in photography you call a bokeh, or we used to pronounce it bokeh, Japanese word. But I was it was really weird to me because sometimes they were using it when things weren't in the center, and I'm like, you shouldn't use that lens that way because everything's blurry now. But in general, I really like the cinematography in the movie, and really noticed that a lot. But so yeah, I'm always noticing that stuff. For context, does doping mean steroids? Doping means any banned substance. Yeah, and steroids are a banned substance. Because I think of dope as weed. No, but weed used to be a banned substance too. Do they even test for that in the Olympics anymore? It was a big thing with Phelps when he got caught smoking a blunt, but he never tested positive during competition.
He never, yeah. And they got a picture of him hitting a bong or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. It was a birthday party, and he was.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even know if weed is a banned substance by like the IOC or anyone anymore, or the anti-doping stuff. But yeah, in general, we're talking about performance-enhancing drugs, which steroids definitely are. But but the thing is, with cycling, what happened is like that stuff is so easily detectable that that's why people went to EPO and stuff, which was harder to detect. But then when they started to develop more tests for that, they went to blood doping, which is just using your own blood that's been taken out of your body and put back in later. And so now they actually use a whole biological passport. So they kind of know what your normal metrics are. And if those normal metrics spike, it pretty much doesn't matter. Like you'll go outside of a number and be banned. So you don't even have to like test positive for any illegal substances in the world of cycling now. And it's funny that the stigma still sticks to cycling so much because so many other sports are so highly doped compared to cycling because cycling is so intense on it because of the scandals. So it'd be very hard to get away. It happens. People get caught, and there's always people trying to, push things in one way or another. But it'd be very hard to be a professional cyclist and be like doping at a high level anymore. Though if you read Instagram comments, people will disagree with you because they love to say stuff with no knowledge of anything. Whenever they say that, like anyone wins, they're like doper. It's like, okay, where's your information?
You can't be good anymore.
Yeah. I think one of the things to me that I've always said is that the reason I really believe, like if not that none is going on, but that it's not like rampant like it used to be, because it's only been the last couple years where they're starting to break the records of like the doping era. And if you look at how much better bike tech is and how much better training is, that's crazy that they're just beating those records now, because they're training at such a higher level than even U.S. Postal, who like was a team that really started to get into that kind of stuff, like all the nutrition, all that stuff. And when the tech started to get better, I mean, the training is so much better, and the tech is considerably better for how fast these guys are riding. So to me, it's very surprising, Lance Armstrong was still riding most of his career with just one brifter, and still had a down tube shifter on the other one. It's maybe if they did a study on how he ended up being such a sociopath. Sociopaths, dark triads, all that stuff, they're born that way. They have no empathy. Like, there's not really I don't believe people, like, it's not a learned behavior, We worked with one for a long time. Yeah, Tyler Hamilton's book is a great book. I've read that. I think it's on I think my head sits in front of my book collection. It's back there somewhere. I have all the cycling books down here. But yeah, it's behind some stuff. But yeah, Tyler Hamilton book is good. What's the name of the guy who started EF? He has a good book about that era too, because he wrote with Lance. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on. Picture looking at his face in my head right now. Whatever. So really, he also talks about how hard it is to stop once you start. He's like, I'll race clean next year, and then it's like season starts coming on, you're not getting the results, and
you talking about Vaughters?
Oh yeah, Jonathan Vaughters. His biography, I think, is an interesting book of that era too. People made fun of him because he was doing like interval training on trainers and stuff back then, like really at the cutting edge of that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, early on, it was a whole cocktail. I mean, it was steroids, it was speed, it was, yeah. EPO is what really became the one that and HGH, human growth hormone, all that stuff. But yeah. Box Hill said, love the PDW fenders. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting comparison because I didn't have any problem with my Planet Bike fenders. They worked great, but they actually reached out to me, so I was like, yeah, I'll try those. And since probably got another ATV project down the road, I'm like, well, cool, I'll fenders for both of them. The Blind Wheelman, you said you've thought about putting a ceramic coating on your winter bike. Yeah. One of my favorite things is just to clean it. Just make sure I keep it clean, but nothing. I've also waxed some of my bikes over the years, especially the steel bikes, which I feel will help a little bit. But
The problem with waxing and like the ceramic coating is it gives you like that false sense of you don't gotta care for it as much.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess it depends.
Because you still gotta worry about stuff getting inside and all the components and all that.
Yeah, I flipped my truck upside down the other day, and I could see the rust in that steel fork. The bike's aluminum, and I cleaned that bike, and I've been pretty careful with it. But yeah, Plof Master said can always tell those anamorphics with the stretch Voca. Yeah, that's exactly how I knew. It has the the stretch also, even more so the flare. The giveaway is when they pass like any kind of sun, you get the flare when using an anamorphic lens is in a line. Instead of like, if you point like your phone or your glasses or anything towards the sun, you get those circular flares. Anamorphics have just a line that looks really cool. I remember I only watched the first season of The Mandalorian, but I think it was COVID, so I watched it with like my COVID crew, just Aaron and Ben and Brad. And I was just being like, oh, they're using anamorphic lenses here. And nobody in the room caring at all. Hey, what's up, Richard? You said living in Las Vegas, you love the ice over the lake video. Yeah, too, when they wild, right? When they like the part where it had like melted on top of the ice, so they were riding. Because I just walked around that segment. They're riding through a puddle on ice on a lake. Like it's just such a weird, like weed is gonna help you trying to perform better. Seen a couple snowboarders that were obviously stoned to the surprise of no one. Oh, we got a super chat. Did it come through? I didn't hear it. The volume is on here. Christopher King, thanks for the super chat. Sorry I didn't hear that pop up. Unless Stream Elements isn't working. Oh wait, it's in the chat. Yeah, weird. But I had a lot of weird problems on this stream. Weed is only going to help you eat Taco Bell better. Which I'm sure the snowboarders are doing too. Donald said, when ice gets more than 12 inches thick, it turns blue due to lack of oxygen. That's interesting. I have some photos from yesterday of the ice. Oh my God, why did this log me out? Is it going to make me like double fucking sign into? My patience for technology right now is very low. But yeah, there's some in downtown Cuyahoga Falls in the gorge. There's these giant ice formations, and you could see the blue in there that I thought was super cool. You could also see the gross yellow from the road, the freeway that sits over at runoff. But yeah, see if I can. But I thought the blue, what made it look super cool. But yeah, this is like a. I take like a 150-foot wall. This is not like small icicles. These are massive. You can see the tree down in the corner maybe, but yeah, because the actual gorge is more like 300 feet, and this is not quite that deep. This is probably like a 150-foot wall there or something like that. Do you ever go down there? It's just like right downtown on the other side of that little park. There's those like boardwalks. In the winter, you can see all those ice forms.
You talking about the falls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
High Bridge Glens. Yeah. This was like a big tourist destination back in the day. Hey, thank Christopher King. I appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat too. It's always nice, yeah. Bike Breath said the I don't know why I can never say that right. PDW fenders are super quiet. Nice. I wonder, was that in the latest Q&A video? Because I have not watched it yet. It's on my list, but I'm behind on bikes, probably because of the Olympics and a few other things. Did I have another photo that showed that before I get off this? Oh, there's the bike. I just brought the bike down there so someone didn't steal it. Like, no one's going to drag that through the snow. Oh, you can see how blue it is there, too, and it gives a bigger scale of the place with the trees that are nearby. But Yeah, I think they sent me and Bike Breath the fenders at the same time. I think the way his Instagram post was that they got sent. So, person who was doing it was really nice. Didn't even ask for anything. Like, just was like, "Hey, do you want to try these out?" I was like, "Sure." Can I do another bike tour? Yeah, it's just the weather. Can't wait to do more bike tours, but it's I just don't this time of year, you know. So yeah, there's more trips planned. This is the planning time of year for us, Nongski. It's not. What do you guys? You guys have like 80s and 90s right now out there, huh? Rock, you said the JV book is really good. You're about half done with Garen Thomas's book now. I haven't read that yet. Don't think he's being totally honest about Team Sky, but also wouldn't expect him to be. Still recommended. Yeah, that's the problem with you know, because what Garen has didn't he isn't he still working for the organization, right? Didn't he become a coach or a can't remember.
He's with Ineos, yeah.
Yeah, he's still with the
I think
organization.
he's like the nutrition guy or something.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's a director sportif or anything.
No.
Yeah, yeah. So that's hard, and like you said, I don't blame him for it, but it makes it less interesting because when you're reading the book, you're only reading about. Yeah, you're not going to get the full scoop on anything because early Team Sky, there's definitely some controversies. So. What Winter Olympic sport would I add? Cyclocross, obviously, the Huff. But I don't know if we talked about this last week, I think, for a minute, but they were doing that one Italian cyclocross World Cup on snow, and that was kind of the goal to like show it off to see if they could ever get it to be an Olympic event. And people were saying how they think of cyclocross as a fall thing, but that's just a U.S. perspective. Cyclocross is a winter sport in Europe, but I don't think it'll ever happen, but it'd be cool. Naptown said cyclocross, yeah. But beyond that, I don't really think there's anything. I can't think of like a winter sport that's like lacking in the Winter Olympics that I like. I mean, I'm not into. I've never been into.
There's only so many. You just do any normal sport on the ice and
any normal sport on snow. Yeah.
I was reading somewhere where they don't have like the exhibition sports really in the winter.
Oh, they don't do exhibition because in the summer they always have like something that is like trying to get in.
It might have just been this year's.
Nah, there's nothing that they're trying out that doesn't count this time. Yeah, Gorge is about to be very, very different because they're getting ready. How far on they are tearing down the dam? It's still a couple years off.
It'd be a couple years before that's
sediment.
They still haven't even closed the park yet. They're still drudging.
Noxie, you said you're 55 and wonder if you could still ride in the snow. Haven't had snow in Manila, however, ever. Does Manila never get snow, right? Is that what you mean? You haven't had snow in Manila ever since. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for dropping in. Any thoughts on neo retro bikes like the Riven, the Crust? It depends on which crust, because not all crusts are neo retro, because some crusts are full on. Like Aaron's Bombora is all disc brake, and if you wanted to run, and it's made for one by, and if you wanted to run electronic on it, you could. Whereas like what we were talking about, the Nor'easter, well, I guess don't they sell that in both flavors? But Riv definitely. Yeah, I guess one thing about Riv to me is like they're beautiful bikes, and it is one of those things where sometimes I think like you could just get something so much older, but I guess you get the tire clearance with Rivs, and Rivs have some geometry, certain models that no other bike has. So yeah, they're a lot of money Rivs to me. You'd have to really know that's the geometry you wanted or something, but I mean, I have no problems with rim brakes and quick release and any of that stuff. So I don't know. Someone, if you looked at my Raleigh, some could consider that not that modern. I'm running 11-speed road group set on it, and yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a super strong opinion on it. Like if I had never gotten a gravel bike from a friend back in the day and I was in the market for one, I would still be looking at like, Crust and Riv and Sklar and yeah, I don't know. Elysee's like currently drooling over a stooge. Yeah, Dylan just built up a stooge. What's up, Sean? Have a PDW origami rear fender and you like it. RJ, me and Dave did that with the last channel, not the last channel meetup. That was 2 years ago, right? Where we did studio portraits of people with their bikes.
Yeah, it wasn't last year.
Yeah, 2 years ago we actually did that. So I said if anyone came to the studio before we did the ride, we would do shoots. So we set it up and did that. But I have always thought about doing that with just my friends. But we usually meet up and just want to ride bikes. They would all be down for it. I would just have to put it out there. But I wouldn't mind. I did do a round of back now a number of years ago. I set up like a very specific backdrop and I photographed all my bikes like really, really well. In my opinion, really, really well. And that would kind of be a cool thing to update. When I made the video where I went through every bike, I was trying to get through them, so I didn't want to stop and do that. I was just trying to light the bikes for the video. But yeah, doing it with people is more interesting. And plus, so many of the outdoor photos, like the style, because of the Radavist and bikepacking.com, everyone's shooting everything the same. Like shooting at the 200 f2.8 from a low perspective with a cool background. So it would be cool to do like the studio stuff since I do have it. And when I did the bike cuts, I did them with a gray seamless background, and I thought that looked kind of cool and it was something different. But oh, Rune, yeah, I think their bikes are super cool too. I've definitely liked a couple of those. Bradley said, any riv you've ever ridden has always felt perfect. It's like they're magic or something. I haven't put enough time on any riv. So at the events that I always see you at, Bradley, someone will have one and I've tried it out and ridden it around in circles, but I've never had the chance to really dial one in. But when you look at people who are really good at bikes, and really definitely a little bit more in the alt cycling space, a lot of people absolutely love their rivs, and all the bikes that Russ, from Pathos pedaled rides, when he moved, his riv is one of the bikes he took with him. So there's definitely something to be said for that. Yeah, Colby, what's up? They could use the same course they use for some of the cross-country skiing, and I'm guessing you would just do it at the end of the Olympics after cross-country was done so you weren't tearing it up for the skis, because probably wouldn't matter as much with the, what is it, there's the one where you stay on the tracks, and then there's the one where you kind of skate, and one's classic and one's called freestyle, right, with cross-country skiing, something like that. But yeah, the thing about cyclocross, if you're in a Winter Olympic venue, it's not going to be hard to find a place to set up a cyclocross course, you wouldn't think. But definitely you already have the venue and the stadium if you're, just do it have the last day or something, because cyclocross race is just an hour. There's only going to be 2 of them. So before and after portraits at the cyclocross race. Yeah, last year I guess everyone would have looked like dead from the heat. We had that heat wave, so the one we did in Akron last year, it was completely dry and dusty, but I guess people were looking sweaty and tired after. Oh, you didn't get to make it. You had you had a family thing? You had something going on.
Something was going on.
Yeah. On Russ's riv, the stem adapter. Yeah, but he changes that stuff out nonstop. I know he was just trying that out, but I have a lot of bikes that look funny. So yeah, still haven't dropped a frame. This is good to know. When I have party size on next week, everything will go
it'll
completely
be an absolute
fucking
wreck.
sideways. Yeah. There's another, when you're talking about the Neo Retro ones, there's another brand I like that makes a cool Neo Retro bike, Bomb Track. So they have some bikes that are more modern, carbon forked steel bikes, and maybe even some full carbon. I don't know if they do full carbon, but then they've done a couple Neo Retro bikes that are really cool looking. There's another UK brand. There's in Rune UK, Bomb Tracks UK, but there's a third one that does some kind of like. I love like classic triangle thin steel tubing looking bikes. So that's why I mean the Nor'easter I think looks awesome, but has all those problems. What is the third like? Is there, I know I was looking at one on Instagram that I really liked. Is it just Rune? Because probably riding doesn't he have a little bit of a relationship with Rune? Is there another British brand he talks about sometimes? Oh, Donald, that's a good idea. Like biathlon with bikes from the Olympics. He said he wants a bike riding with the rifle shooting. That's called biathlon, right? Where they cross country ski and shoot. That's one I didn't see. They did the men's. There's a number, but they did one the other day and I missed it. But I always liked that one growing up. Plus, played that in the Winter Olympics on Apple IIe's. Did you guys play that? Did you play Winter Olympics? They named everything something weird, like the freestyle skiing was just called hot dogging. I've been saying that the rest of my life ever since then. Yeah. Wild bikes, yeah. Wild in Minneapolis is like, I think they do make real cool bikes. They do I guess a couple more neo retro ones, but in general I think a Wild is pretty modern. You know.
I would say Wild is pretty modern.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely Jeff designed the original All Cities and all that, so it's definitely he does have, he comes from a fixie background, but most of the Wilds are pretty modern. The ones that are less are usually super expensive, full custom, because he did do the light one, light, the lugged one for Made and all that. But Mason? No, I'm not familiar with Mason. Black Mountain, yeah, they make some cool bikes. Singular. I have seen Singular, Bradley. That's not who I was thinking of. Maybe Rune is who I was thinking of. But yeah, Singular does some cool stuff. What's the one in Montreal, Canada, too, that does some cool stuff? Yeah, obviously, Bike Breath. Talks about it. And then Pathless Pedal did a video where those people were going on a bike tour in Europe, and he met up with them. It's a bike shop that has their own. What are those called? Aaron loves those too. Aaron was looking at one. The deal breaker on the one she liked is that it still had an integrated derailleur hanger, which if I was buying a modern bike, I would consider a deal breaker as well, just because I've had so many problems of mine just wearing out. Because when I buy a bike, I want it to, at this point, if I was going to buy a bike, it would be a forever bike. So. Oh, probably riding has a Rune Rufus Stone. Okay, so that is, I was thinking. I was just thinking of Rune already, so. Has there been any sort of update on STS's new bike? Yeah, on their YouTube channel, he's been talking about it a lot. And in his version, like his early prototype, he keeps trying different stuff out on it, but he's not a huge winter rider. But he's been playing around with it. He said they have already sold a few. He even emailed me and said a couple are from people who know the channel. So just Google on YouTube, just search STS because he has some videos on that bike. So we're going to try and get together soon. Like I said, he's not a winter cyclist, so we're hoping, I don't know, maybe even for the channel meetup, it'd be cool if they wanted to come out and show a couple of the bikes. I know I'll definitely see him at the Ann Arbor Handmade Bike Show, but I'm hoping before then we get to mess around with those a little bit. So, Bassi. Yeah, that's who I think, is it more pronounced like Bassi? But yeah. That's the exact bike I was thinking of. Oh, Brother. Yeah, Brother is another one. That's the one, Bradley. When you said Singular, I was thinking of Brother. Because they even do the one with Cannies, right? Don't they have a bike they released a bike just last year that's Cannies. Hey, Chris, you said still have your 1991 Concorde rock and roll bike. Nice. Illicit feedback said forever bike has got to be a mixed. Got to think like an old man. Yeah, so my back issues throwing my leg up over the. I could see that being a thing. But there's a couple modern brands making mixed. I've always said mixedy my whole life, but I guess it is just pronounced mixed. But yeah. And then everyone in America says, that's a girl's bike. Yeah, what is the name of that brother one that came out? Oh yeah, the brothers all look cool. I do like that brand. I follow them online. All kind of have that classic look, but like wide tire clearance. Yeah, what's this blue one? Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty very all city vibes, but even with the fork and the where the seat collar is. Be even cooler with silver wheels and silver components. They got the silver cranks, but what's up, Racer? How's it going? Said, oh, you got a new shop building, so putting your 10,000 bikes into there is, I'm sure, a full-time job. Yeah, that and all, of course, all the brown-colored ice in your backyard. Yeah. Thanks for the Alex video. Appreciate it. Yeah, for sure, man. Have a good night, Ronald. Yeah, I even like the solid color one. That's cool, too. Oh, it's like a carbon fork. Oh, mate. Is that pronounced Mate? I do remember. I don't know. I've definitely watched some YouTube videos of their bikes as well. Was it just a couple brothers and a sister? Kepler. Is that more of a like a cross style bike? Yeah. I love that paint job too. Looks like they had the Grill Monsoon in that color for a while. That one hasn't integrated derailleur hanger then. It's probably an older bike. But a steel cyclocross frame bike with candies makes a pretty sexy bike. Yeah. Yeah, I have like a really cool looking vintage cyclocross bike frame upstairs. A friend gave it to me for the parts because it's bent uh, in the head tube, so it's not really rideable. But it's a really cool looking bike. The one I have hanging when you come down the stairs, even has a campy headset on it.
Mm.
It just looks like a road bike. I mean, that's essentially what it is. Just Chris said, "You guys ever hear of the Hydro Cut in Waterloo, Ontario? If you like mountain bike, it's worth the trip. Plus a trip to Horseshoe Ski Resort for downhill MTB and great breweries." No, I'm not familiar with the Hydro Cut. Is that a oh plus a trip to the Horseshoe Ski Resort? I was gonna say, is that a ski resort that you mountain bike at? Hey, what's up, Wes? How's it going? I know. I forgot Illicit's comment. I did read it. Summer biathlon is a cycling event. Yeah. Yeah, just like a. That'd be kind of like a cool, like gravel, like dirt ride event. Then you come into some field where you do the shooting, rifle shooting. I wonder how many people who could ride their bike fast also have a shooting hobby. Dave, that might be your event.
Yeah, sign me up.
Everyone else is doing penalty laps, and you might not be the fastest rider, but you hit the target.
I got you on the targets. Yeah.
That's the I don't know. I feel like there's a couple kinds of biathlon because like I think one is like just a time penalty, right? I like the one where they actually do the penalty lap, so it's like visual and physical, and like. I can't remember because I only watch them every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
I don't follow. Every Olympics when I watch curling, I'm like, I need to stay up on curling. Like I need to.
How?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is there like a because there's still world championships every year. It's like, is there a curling subscription plan like I have for cycling? Like,
Oh, on like ESPN 20.
the Ocho. Yeah. Which I just found out what that was. I don't know, within the last year. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I love it. Like
I don't get it. It's cool to watch. I don't.
Oh, you
It's
don't-
like rugby.
Oh,
I
curling
could
is
read the rules
like
100 times and still don't understand it.
curling's actual rules are super simple. Like all the terminology and everything they're saying at the highest level sounds complicated. It's just because they're doing strategy.
Yeah.
If me and you were playing, it would be like playing, what's the
Bocce ball.
cornhole?
Cornhole.
Horseshoes would be a more, but even cornhole would make sense. It's just how many you have closer than the other team's next closest are the points. That's it.
Wow.
So if you have one in the center and they have one right next to it, you got 1 point. If you have two, but their next closest is here, then it's 2 points. So it's not complicated at all, and it's usually only, and then whoever got the point, the other team gets the last throw the next round, which they call an end. So that's called the hammer. So there's a bunch of terms, but it's a very simple scoring game. It's just, like I said, if you were an amateur, we would just all throw them down there and try and get them as close, as close as possible, and maybe try to knock someone's out. But we wouldn't be like curling it around and throwing guards and all
Right.
that stuff. But yeah, the actual scoring is just how many are closer than anybody else. The score stops where their next closest one starts. So yeah, Wild is actually. I don't know if you saw it. Jeff posted a video. They're moving out of Angry Catfish. I don't think there's any financial connection. Like I don't think Jeff's Wild brand is tied to Angry Catfish in any way, except that he rented space from them. So, but he just bought a new building. He did a little tour, so he'll. Yeah, and I'm sure they'll still have a relationship. I'm sure Wild will still be well stocked at Angry Catfish and all that stuff. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not believe beyond he used some of their space and that they're good friends because they're Minneapolis guys, that there's any connection financially or business wise. You're out there. You're closer. You would know better than I. Oh, Kent, I won't say anything then because I watched that live today. When we were finishing up my taxes, I was like, wonder how busy Nathan is. Is he going to ask to go to lunch? Because if not, I have to go social media blackout so I don't find out who won. I only missed half the first end, but yeah, I got back. That was on my, like, okay, I've got some photos I need to edit, and I planned it perfectly to like edit those photos so I could watch that live. Because the gold medal match today was at 105. I wonder if I could find that hydro cut. Why is this not scrolling? Oh, I was in full screen. Hydro cut. Let's see if I just type in hydro cut water, though, if it finds it. Oh, yeah, one of the top MTB destinations. Well, I was hoping to get out and ride because their update was talking about 12 inches of new snow. Trails are in need of some snowshoe and fat bike traffic. I asked my group if anyone had been out at our local mountain biking trails because I was thinking on Monday? Yeah, today's Tuesday. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe trying to get out for like a snow mountain bike ride before the trails get closed for a long time, but couldn't find good enough information if anyone had beat the trails in because my bike, if that snow was fresh, is not getting anywhere. So Wild is under the Angry Catfish umbrella. I find that interesting because I got the vibe that it was Jeff and he had a financial guy and it was their brand. Huh. I did not feel like Angry Catfish was, unless the financial guy is the guy who owns Angry Catfish. Someone let me know about that because, yeah, because where we were talking about Bassy, like they are the guys who own the bike shop own Bassy. Wild, I thought was Jeff and a financial guy who likes bikes, and they just rented space from Angry Catfish. So. Jeff sure seems like he owns the brand, right? But anyways, Chris said Hydro is all about community. Yeah, I'll drop a link in the chat for anyone who wants to check that out. 'Cause I'm not gonna read their website out loud anymore, but anyone could click on that. Yeah, I'm surprised to hear that. Yeah. But Thrifty, you're out there, so I know you probably know those guys at least a little bit. I feel like Wizard started in a bike shop basement too. There's a number. There's the one, I know, the one French brand that Russ has a little bit of a relationship with. That's like a bike shop, and then they have a bike brand. So I think that's not wildly uncommon. Get it? What time is it? Did you look at the time? Actually, it is probably close to 10:07. I've been thinking more like an hour for the chats where it's just me, but plus my leg is killing me with Edmund on it.
Has he moved at all?
He has not moved at all. Like Aaron talks about her cats. If she like shifts to try and like reach for something, they're like out, and she's like, God damn it. It's like this guy. If he's sitting on me when I'm on the couch upstairs and I'm like, I'm going to grab another beer, I'll like hold him under my arm and he'll be like struggling. I'll grab the beer, I'll crack it, then put him back on my lap. He's like, okay.
All right.
I've always said he is like jostleable. He does not care. Like he's waking up a little bit now, but I could flip the way my legs are crossed and he would probably stick around. Also, the chat's not going way behind in time, too. It's staying, like, we're relatively close. You know what I mean? That gap usually gets so long when me and Party Size are doing it. But this is, like, only, 20 seconds off at the most, maybe? We've been minutes.
Oh, the delay between live and...
Yeah, live and what I'm actually saying, because we've had it go way off. Last week, someone was like, I think there's a huge delay because like what you're talking about happened so long ago. I'm like, no, I'm just way behind on the chat. That's typical around here. So I'm gonna give this a minute before we sign off because I feel like the chat got hung up and it's about to burst through with 10 messages like it does. But if it doesn't in a second here, I think we'll end it for tonight. I also do have to work in the morning. I'm shooting a menu for a pizza place. So.
Shooting a menu?
Yeah. Yep, the chat just did the bounce. Yeah, the Checos.
Oh, yeah?
We're going to do their menu photos. I'm like, should I eat breakfast? I got to assume if we're photographing all those pizzas, they're going to be... Whenever they do a grand opening, we eat pizza. But can't go in hungry. At the same time, I will not...
You might leave feeling sick, though.
Yeah, I know. At the same time, I won't... I love that I work with them. I work with them through a videographer and social media friend, and I do the stills. But yeah, because they opened 4 or 5 restaurants this fall. Yeah,
something like that. They got a bunch now.
They're good. I love their pizza, so they're a good brand to work with. Huh? Wild is one of ACF's brands. Frayne runs it. Interesting. Curling is more like a human board game than a sport. I don't know, man. Those sweepers go hard, especially in just the mixed doubles because you only have one. And they still go hard in the bigger team events. But like watching USA today, like they're working up a sweat. But it is like a game of. It does have that vibe of like a game of skill. Like something like I don't think we said no one considers horseshoes like a athletic competition. Not that ever since cornhole came along anyone plays horseshoes anymore, but growing up that's what people still played horseshoes at the family picnics and stuff. I remember like my dad and my uncles and grandpa playing that. Sorry, bud. Let's see if I can get this chair back to where yeah, look how much I bet he still sticks around even though I have totally. Here, how about like this? Sorry, I got to face sideways now. My leg is going to die if I lift it like that. Razor said, I bought a Winter Olympics Nintendo game that my uncle and I would get stoned and play the hell out of curling. Oh, no way. Nintendo had a curling game? Which era Nintendo was that? I do not remember ever. Winter games, like when we were growing up in like the early 80s, everything was just bobsled, freestyle skiing, figure skating, which no one could ever figure out. If you got like .1, you would win that event. Like we could never figure out how the figure skating was supposed to work in winter games. Like ever, no one. Like, and we played the shit out of it. And it was like, yeah, if someone got like .2, it was like, well, you won figure skating. I can't believe you didn't play that. That was one of our favorite games. It was such a good multiplayer thing to do because you each just took a turn and.
I'm trying to think of the game. It was a skiing game, but I forget what it's called. But it was so stupid. You just dodging trees. That's basically the whole game.
Was that just that one where you just skied forever?
Yeah.
Free ski? Wasn't it just called free ski?
Maybe.
It was something like that because I played the shit out of that too at one era. Like when I first got computers again when we lived right by each other. Man, if they have an emulator for that, I'm in trouble. I think it's the one you're talking. You just were a tiny little skier, but you just went down the mountain first. Like, I think that was free ski. Yeah, we were super competitive with the bobsled. I got in a fight with one of my neighbors over it. I remember just like punching the shit out of him. Then I stormed out and went home, and then his mom, of course, called.
Because you stormed out, or because you?
No, because I hit him.
Oh.
I was having a bad day on the I was having a bad day at the bobsled.
on the what do they call that? The chutes or whatever.
The sliding center. It was a bad day at the sliding center, and this dude would not like. He just kept I kept crashing it, and I'm losing. Like at first I'm like, I've lost my touch. What's going on? Because you kind of reverse steer in the way the game worked, and then he just kept getting on my case. And it finally pushed. The next time I crashed, and he made some wisecrack. I just got up and decked him and left. Then my mom take the phone. Did you hit Brett? I did. See ya, Chris. Thrifty said, I worked at Angry Catfish a couple summers ago. They used to have an in-house custom brand called Northern. That got phased out, and they started the relationship with Frame and developed the Wild brand. Oh, okay. Huh. Hey, what's up, Cunado? Has Eric jumped in? Eric must be drinking tonight. He's texting me some YouTube videos. That's what we do to each other. You gotta hear this, man. He's in Boston. It's the only way we could. Nobody else cares besides the two of us. And those nights where it hits just right and we just start listening to the things each other are sending you. How a bike shop starts a brand would be an interesting video. Yeah. Before before they closed Gunnar and Waterford down, because they would make you whatever you wanted. Like me and Otis had talked about that with Dirty River, but having Gunnar make specific frames to his design specs, and then they would have some kind of it'd be a Dirty River label. You want to have them under the Gunnar name, but I think that's the way a lot of them do it, right? If you're more custom, maybe they have a frame builder. David Griffin, long ago I assisted in a studio to shoot industrial extension corders. Kind of brought my photog dreams to a halt. God damn, I butchered that. But I know what you mean, because we've shot some very long, boring... There's been some long, boring product shoots. Do I take prom photos for that school I work with? No, Michael, because it's... I don't... colleges have a prom, right?
No.
No, they don't. That's a high school thing?
It's a high school thing.
Oh, so that's why I don't do it. I do stuff around homecoming, but never like a dance or anything. Do they do dances?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's like a fraternity sorority thing.
Yeah.
I know they'll have like balls.
Yeah, because we do
galas.
galas, balls and galas. Both sound kind of gala, but yeah, because we do like they have like the cookout that we do, and then like some of the pep stuff. And homecoming, they do a big. Yeah, they do a bit. What do you call that? Like,
I never really understood homecoming at university because there's no dance.
yeah, it's just a tradition, I guess. It's like the school coming back. They do homecoming king and queen, but now it's all based on academics and being nominated through a club or like a, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I photograph all that kind of stuff, but like no dance type stuff for high schools. The only high school I work for is a private Catholic school, but I only do like marketing sports photos for them. Actually, tomorrow they have their last wrestling meet of the year, and I'm going to photograph that. But even that, I'm not covering the sports as much as trying to get marketing like 2025, like high quality images they could use. So it's a different kind of a arrangement. So I'm not even working for the sports department. I'm working for the school's marketing department, but shooting sports. I did bowling this year, and it was fucking packed. Like, the bowling is so popular. They didn't have bowling as a high school sport when we were in high school.
Where'd they go?
They were here on State Road, actually. It was nice. I rode my bike.
Nice.
Before all the snow. But yeah, it was packed. I could barely get where I needed to be to shoot photos.
Huh.
Like, oh. I asked, I'm like, is that like a Catholic high school thing? And like, because my buddy Jason's a teacher there, and he's like, nah, it's just kind of become more of a thing.
Let's make it a comeback.
Yeah. Wadies was invented in Illoria? Wadies? Cornhole with plastic pucks. Gotcha. Oh, Nagano Olympics for the Nintendo 64. Gotcha. So it's... Yeah, so it doesn't go way back. Nagano was 1998's Olympics, right? Yeah. I think I didn't really get into curling till the next Olympics. No, it would have been 2 after that. I was living alone, and I was... Might have been when we were working at Boston Mills. No, that would have been '07, right? Maybe it was '08 because I didn't go back to Boston Mills and I just took the winter off. I was trying to do photography. Hey, what's up, Ricky? We're about to wind down here. Yeah, Ski Free, Stephanie said, was the one where the Yeti chased you down at the end.
I think
Is
that's
that the one? Yeah.
I'm thinking
I
of.
played a lot of that. I think it's right when I did move into Highland Square and I got a computer again for the first time in a number of years. I played a lot of Skate or Die as well. Cool Runnings Knockout? Was that a game? Frat balls, gala balls. What's up, Sam? Mm-hmm. I don't have them in my pocket, Sam, but I like that Sam was doing a fundraiser making like keychains with like bike chains. But my parents were at an event and they gave me a bunch of those, and I have one for every single keychain. I should have just bought one because it was for a good cause, anyways. But I think he sold them all. So. Michael, yeah, no, I do, like I said, I do shoot for the high school, but that's for sports marketing. The University of Akron is what I do a ton of work for, but that's not I'm a freelancer. I don't work, like, I'm not an employee of the university. That's just one of my clients. So. One of our local breweries is hosting an adult queer-friendly prom on Valentine's Day. They're calling it Queerly Beloved. Dave, actually, I was double booked. I was doing a different event for the university, and Dave, they did a queer prom right before all this happened, and it was probably one of the worst events you ever.
Oh, that was it was awkward.
Just poorly attended, right? So
it was very poorly attended.
Yeah, you said it was like a bunch of people fairly uncomfortable, and then you had to try and like
Yeah,
figure out how to take their photos.
I've become the minority, and everybody's staring at me, and you're trying to get them to act normal and have fun, and yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason you did that and I didn't is I was at a different university event on the same night.
I thought you were out of town. I can never keep track of where you're at.
Yeah. I think I was working, and maybe it wasn't for the university, but it was just so much at the end of the year they do with graduation that it keeps me so busy. Speaking of that, I have one to ask you about. It's in March. Your band played a punk rock prom? Nice. Ah, man, Brent, it's too late for me to get into this question tonight, but I think just to throw one out there real quick a lot of people are talking about the Primos, that for the budget, like around $1,000, that it's one of the best deals that you could get in like a budget new gravel bike. If depending, again, everyone's idea of what budget is different. So I, in my opinion, don't think you're going to get anything that's worth buying under $1,000, but unless you go used. But if you don't know what you're looking for, used is hard, as Large Mars always reminds me. So. Hey, what's up, Yenzer? You said bowling seems like one of those sports that always ebbs and flows with marketing over time. Yeah, I just never thought of it as a high school sport at all. I mean, well, just because it wasn't when we were there. Rick, I once played Legends of Zelda for 13 hours straight. Remember before games could save, and then you just had to pause it and like hope no one touched the TV,
Right.
or it didn't just fail on you like early Nintendos did. Salsa Journeyer, also, yeah, always one of the best intro to gravel bikes that will last and be upgradable. Sam, you said you still have some keychains left. You'll send me a SRAM chain, my favorite. I actually think both my main bikes have SRAM chains on them, just because that's what Dirty River carries. Yeah, but they're not the 12-speed flat top ones, because my bikes are 11 and 10 speeds. So. I wonder if there's a way, Sam, where I could drop that link of. It's just through your Instagram, right? I protect it same. Oh yeah, there it is. Whoops. There you go. If you guys are on Instagram, buy one of Sam's keychains. It goes to the Midwest Immigration Bond Fund. So, yeah. Yender said love is beside him, but second to Primos for the components. Yeah. Yeah, a couple things to look up. Fairdale, another budget brand that does pretty well. State bikes I think are pretty affordable. Hey, what's up, Mitmon? All right. Like I said, getting into that topic, I knew could carry us for another hour. The budget gravel bike thing, but yeah, gonna wrap it up here. Been an hour, 20 minutes, and like I said, got to get up in the morning and be prepared to photograph pizza. So, yeah, anyways, like I said, next week, I do have a post on the YouTube channel. So if you go to the page and go to the post tab, it has all 4 movies listed. So that's what me and Party Size are going to talk about next week. So you got a full week to at least watch a couple of the movies, or at least read about them, because that's what the discussion is going to be. And then I'm sure we'll take some suggestions for what we do the next time around. But yeah, it should be fun. I'm definitely looking forward to talking about a couple of these movies, because I have some not so hot takes. But all right. See if the outro video plays. The outro video, by the way, might not play because I had issues, so this might just be it. But anyways, I will see you all next week. Peace.
We'll see myself on your YouTube.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Cause
Yeah.
this not okay.
Fitzwater photo. Thank you video. I need to make a new one this summer.